I'm Taylor.
And I'm Tyler.
This is Book of Mormon Central's Come Follow Me Insights. Today, Alma 17 to 22. So let's begin with a story today. Now, we're getting into a bunch of missionary chapters, and we're going to be spending time with some missionaries who, early in their lives, you would have never imagined that the stories we're about to read would have ever happened. And so there's a principle here that your past does not predict or determine your future. And let me just tell you a small story. So I grew up in the frozen wastelands of Minnesota. Actually, it's a very beautiful place. It's known as the land of 10,000 lakes. And probably there's more lakes than that. It's interesting, as a kid, I remember we took a trip to a state park. And we went to this lake, and we visited lots of places like this growing up as a family. The lake was not of any particular significance. It was surrounded by trees, and there was a small outlet that created a little stream. And the stream was probably, I don't know, not very wide, maybe about as wide as I can stretch my hands, and enough that you could actually walk across the stream there was a pile of rocks. And what was interesting about this is that this nondescript lake and this nondescript stream actually is the headwaters of the third largest river basin in the entire world. It's the headwaters of the river that drains 41% of the land in the lower 48. And you probably guessed by now, it's the Mississippi River. It was Lake Itasca. Now, if somebody had told me, and I didn't know anything about geography, this little lake is the source of this mighty river that powers the economy through the Midwest, and is the way that people have traveled and communicated for years by using this river, I just would have never believed it. That little lake and that little stream, I could have never foreseen that it become this mighty, powerful, grand river that have shaped years of people's lives in the Midwest. Similarly, when we look at the lives of Ammon, Aaron, Omni, Himner, and others who we're told earlier in scriptures, they were the very vilest of sinners. We could not imagine that their early life could have ever led to who they became. Now, what's interesting here is that the gospel creates these inflection points in our lives. The power of the love of Jesus Christ through the atonement can change us drastically, where we can become something completely unexpected. And that's part of what we're going to be looking at today, among other things, that our past does not predict the future. And if anything, if we stay on the gospel path, that will predict our future, that we will be welcomed in to God's kingdom.